All right. Okay. So, first, I just want to say thank you all for entrusting me with your health and fitness goals. And I'm thrilled to have each of you all. I made myself a few notes so I wouldn't forget anything. So, like you all know, this is prep week. So, I don't want you all stressing about, the workouts and the food cycle and all that stuff, because that's what we're going to talk about tonight. Um, and of course, you can go on and start doing some things, and we'll talk about the things that you can do. Of course, there's the workouts that you can already be doing if you want. We're going to go through the comprehensive guide, and I'm going to share my screen with you all so that we can look through that together. So let me go on and do that, if I can remember how to do that. Share screen. Okay. Pull this up. Okay, so if you open up your portal, and under Prep Week is where you're going to find your comprehensive program guide, which I emailed that to everyone separately as well. So we're going to open that up. Now, if you can't see this and I'm doing something wrong, please say something in the chat feature, because I've not done this before. So, all right. So our program hashtag is actually Faster Way with Terry. So this is like the hashtag for Amanda, and she's the creator of the program. So as you all have seen through the videos, it's not me, it's her. And in her videos, she demonstrates the exercise, but she never says anything but if you've been in my 30-day program, you notice that when I do my demonstrations, I talk you all through the exercises. But if you have questions about any of the exercises going forward and you need modifications for something, just let me know, comment, just post in our group, and that way if somebody else has the same issue, it's in our group. Okay. So our hashtag is Faster Way with Terry. And I put on here my Instagram. I'm terrible with Instagram, but that was my new thing for this round. I said I was going to get better with Instagram. So list your measurements on this form. Some people email those to me, and that's fine. But then when I first started the Faster Way, I just listed my measurements on this form so that I could keep it on the form. And then as I continued on and measured myself at various different times, I would just write the date on there so I could keep track of my measurements and the progress that I've made. I do want your before and after pictures, so make sure you take before pictures. I'm getting in some pictures from the round that just ended, and I'm floored at some of the pictures and the progress that they made, and it's just amazing. So I'll actually be posting after this call one of the before and afters of one of my clients and her testimony. But I think she lost like 9 pounds and more than 9 inches, and she looks amazing. So she's made a huge difference. And so she's going to continue on her own for a little bit, and then I think she's going to hop back in on the next round. So we're going to talk about carb cycling and intermittent fasting tonight, and how those two things work. So some of you all have been with me before and you already know how this works, and then a few of you are new and never done this. So carb cycling is just a variation of your carbohydrate intake for the week. So we will cycle through high and low carb days. Our low carb days are going to be Mondays and Tuesdays. We do 50 net carbs or less on those days. We use MyFitnessPal to track everything, and I will post a video after this call on how to use MyFitnessPal and how to set that up. When you're setting up MyFitnessPal, you want to make sure that you don't set your weight loss goal at more than 1 pound per week. Your activity level, if you are on your feet pretty much all day long, then you want to be set at active. Most people are at lightly active for the most part. And then if you have a desk job and you sit just all the time at the desk and you aren't going to be able to do very much of the workouts, then you'll be set at not active at all, or let's see, there's not active, lightly active, and active. So you'd be not active. So if you need help trying to figure out where you need to set that at, we can work through that though. So go on and make sure you've downloaded MyFitnessPal on your phone. And that way, when I post the video after this call, you can watch through that and know how to set everything up and find your macros. And then we will screenshot that from the day, each day, and post that in our group. So with carb cycling, we will do low carbs on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday are our higher regular calorie days, high carb regular calorie days. So that's when we refuel our bodies from our carb for our carbs. And on low carb days, we pair those low carb days with speed burst or HIIT training workouts. And the reason is because we want to deplete those glycogen levels so that you tap into the fat and you start burning fat. So you only have 2 cardio workouts through this program, and that's going to be on your low carb days. And then Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday are your weight training days. And so that's when we refuel on those carbs and we eat the healthy carbs. So we try our very best to be gluten and dairy free through the next 6 weeks. Okay. So you will find that you will feel a lot better not having those things in your diet. Personally, I'm gluten free and mostly dairy free. I do eat cheese. But that's really the only dairy product I really care to have. Everything else upsets my stomach. So let's really try hard to limit the gluten and dairy as much as possible, because you're going to see your results are going to be a lot better, and you're going to feel a lot better, because a lot of times gluten and dairy cause a lot of inflammation in your bodies. And then that causes either bloating, constipation, diarrhea. It can be even show up in forms of like eczema, skin rashes, things like that. So that's, and then we have low carb or low calorie days on Friday and Sunday. And so you'll eat 25% less calories than what's recommended by MyFitnessPal. So if your calorie goal is at 1,500, you would take 25% less of that. And that would be your calorie goal for low calorie days on Friday and Sunday. Okay. So it would roughly be probably around like 1,200 calories for those 2 days. Now, if you take 25% of your recommended calorie goal from MyFitnessPal and it has you under 1,000 calories, I don't want you going below 1,000 calories on low cal days. Okay. So if you're set at like 12 or 1,300 calories and that's your goal, and 25% less is obviously going to be under the 1,000 calorie, I just want you to stick at 1,000 calories on those 2 days. So hopefully that explains a little bit of the carb cycling. And then, of course, all this goes into why we do carb cycling and all the benefits of carb cycling. So please, please, please read this comprehensive guide so that you understand why we do the carb cycling. There's so many good benefits. And one of the biggest benefits for me has been it's increased my thyroid output, and it's helped stabilize my blood sugar levels so that I'm not having these huge spikes in my blood sugar throughout the day with carb cycling, because I'm not eating any bad carbs, and I'm pairing what carbs I do eat with healthy fats now. And I highly recommend that if you see that when you eat some carbs, if you find that you instantly feel very tired or sluggish, you need to pair that with some healthy fats. So for me, when I eat, if I have an apple, then I always eat it with either some almonds or some almond butter or peanut butter. Same with like a banana, because those are really high in carbs. Of course, they're the good carbs, but they have a lot of carbs in them. So I always usually I only have like half a serving of fruit at a time, and I always have some type of fat with it so that it keeps my blood sugar stable. So then we do the intermittent fasting, and the intermittent fasting is one thing that a lot of people are usually kind of intimidated by, but end up loving it. We do practice the 16-8 protocol. So we have a 16-hour fasting window and an 8-hour feeding window. So your goal is to consume all those calories that's recommended by MyFitnessPal during that 8-hour feeding window. Hopefully your 16-hour fasting window, you're sleeping about half of that. And that's one thing I will touch on is sleep and how important it is in this program. So what happens during the fasted state is that your insulin levels will lower, and it helps you reach into your fat stores. And what I found is, even for myself, I never really ever got into a fasted state because I was usually never going more than 8 to 10 hours without eating. And that was just because I was sleeping at least 8 hours. So it's really helped my digestive system because I've always dealt with digestive problems. So it's really helped with that because it gives your digestive system time to rest. And what was I going to say? About the small meals. Yes, because I always have people ask me about small meals. And, I've always been told you got to eat small meals, every 2 or 3 hours. Well, the problem with that is that your insulin levels are always spiking and going down and back up and going down and back up. And then again, you're not giving yourself, your digestive system, any time to rest. And then you never get into that fat store that you have because you're always eating. And so your body's always going to have that glycogen store. So fasting is something that they done it back in when Jesus was alive. So it's in the Bible. It's been done for many, many years. And we as humans are made to go longer without eating, and we can, and we're going to be okay. We're not going to pass out. We're not going to starve because our bodies have stored up fat. So it will rely on that fat to give you fuel and energy. Okay. So what I typically recommend during prep week is that you go on and try to work your way up to the 16-hour fasting window. So if you typically never go more than 8 to 10 hours without eating, then I would suggest maybe tomorrow that you start with trying to go 10 to 11 hours without eating. And then the next day you go 12 hours without eating. And then the next day 13, and keep adding an hour onto that. During your fasting window, you can consume all the water you want, herbal teas, unsweet tea, black coffee, BCAAs. And so BCAAs are just amino acids. It's like a recovery drink that you can actually drink either before or after your workouts. And it just replenishes those electrolytes and things that you lose, especially if you sweat. You're going to sweat a lot in the cardio workouts. But then in the strength training workouts, we lift heavy. So lifting heavy causes that muscle to kind of break down. But then the BCAAs will help with restoring that muscle, and also will help with not being as sore. So those are absolutely fine to drink, and I will post a picture of what I like. I get at GNC, and although it does have a couple artificial things in it, just one has red dye, but I cannot find anything that I like that is 100% clean. I've tried a few different ones, and I can't get past the bitterness. So, like I say, all things in moderation. You can't be perfect with everything, and that's okay. Just be as good as you can be with your food and try to be as clean as possible. But there are going to be some things that you're just not, and that's okay. So those are the things you consume. You can use some stevia if you like in your teas or in your coffee. Or you can, I sometimes will put just a little bit of honey in my tea if I don't have a stevia. But I prefer the liquid stevia. I think it dissolves better, and you can get that at Kroger or Walmart or Amazon. Okay. So we will start fasting on Monday. And like I said, it's a 16-hour fasting window, an 8-hour feeding window. Okay. You'll want to make sure that you drink lots of waters and tea and things like that during that fasting period. Okay. So if you haven't already, we're going to go through prep week and what we can continue to do. My internet is unstable. So if you haven't already, make sure that you have introduced yourself in the group on our page on Sunday in that thread. Make sure you introduce yourself and tell us one main goal that you have for the first 6 weeks. Okay. Email me your before pictures. Put that email. Don't send it to that email. That'll go to Amanda. Send it to mine. It's terrykeith@gmail.com. Make sure that you read through this guide completely. And I'm going to talk about our approved foods list in just a minute, because there are a few things that I want to add on to that are okay to eat. You can do the workouts for the prep week, and they are on, if you click on prep week and click on the workouts, and you can do those workouts this week if you like. Again, everything is optional for this week, so if you don't do it, it's okay. We will start Monday, and that's when we are going to start rocking and rolling. Okay. Okay. So here's our food cycle overview. Like I said, low carb day is Monday, Tuesday. Regular macro, which is regular calorie day, and we focus on macros on day 3, day 4, day 5, day 6, and day 7. Day 1 and 2, low carb days, we do not focus on macros. Your macros will not be what they should be. You will have a higher percentage of fat, moderate amount of protein, and very little carbs on low carb day. So on low carb day, the goal is to really focus on consuming healthy fats, healthy proteins, and very little carbs. Okay. And then, so your low carb days are going to always be paired with HIIT, Tabata, or sprint workouts. We stay at 50 net carbs or less on these days. So net carbs is your total carbs minus your fiber. And I will show you in the video how to use MyFitnessPal, how to find all that. Okay. Now Amanda put in here, break your fast around noon. You can break your fast whatever works for you. I typically fast till about 10:30 or 11, and then I will break that fast, and then I will eat until 6:30 or 7 that evening. So some people like the 10 to 6, some people like 11 to 7, 12 to 8. So whatever works for you. As long as it's an 8-hour feeding window and a 16-hour fasting window, we're good. So during low carb days, you want to avoid all your starchy carbs. So you want to avoid potatoes, bananas, bananas are not a carb. Bananas, potatoes. Stay away from beans. Any kind of beans are going to have a lot of carbs in them. Any of your fruits are going to have a lot of carbs. If you are going to eat any fruits, I recommend sticking with berries. Any type of berry, it's fine. One serving will not put you over your carb goal. Okay. And then with other vegetables, let's see, no potatoes, no corn, no. Trying to think here, what else? You can eat all the broccoli, zucchini, spaghetti squash. That's what I use in substitute of pasta. Like if my family's having lasagna or spaghetti on a low carb night, and that's what I fix. And I always fix spaghetti squash, or I use zoodles, which are just zucchini noodles. So yeah, you can definitely fill up on all those leafy vegetables, salads. When you're doing your salad dressings, it's always best if you make them. But if you can't, then the better options are going to be the ones there in the cold section by where all the packaged salads are. I personally like Bolthouse salad dressing, and I like the creamy balsamic vinaigrette. The ranch is good. The avocado ranch is good. and I think those are the only 3 that I've tried so far. So those are good. I like them. Um, when you're shopping for things, always pay attention to the label, and the least amount of ingredients, the better when you're buying packaged things or pre-made things. If it has something in there that you can't pronounce, then I would probably just put it back on the shelf and not buy it. Or if you're not sure what the ingredients are and you're like, well, I'm not real sure what that is, then just put it back. Okay. So like I said, your macro graph will not look normal on low carb days. We focus on staying at 50 net carbs or less. So this is just the percentages. They will vary, but should probably be between 10 to 20% carbs, 20 to 30% protein, 40 to 65% fat. So your fat is always going to be more and should be on low carb days than your proteins. Your protein is actually kind of going to be about what you would normally eat on any other day, maybe just a little bit higher. You still want to aim to hit your calorie goal on low carb day, but you will find it to be challenging at the beginning, because where you're feeding and fueling up on healthy carbs or healthy fats and healthy proteins, those things keep you full longer because they take longer to digest. So you'll find that you're not as hungry. But over the course of a couple of weeks, hopefully that will get a little bit better and you'll get closer to meeting that calorie goal. And I do recommend that you try to stay within, give or take, around 200 if you are 200 less calories than what you should be. I'm not going to get too worried about, you doing any damage to your thyroid and hormones and things, because that's what happens if you don't consume the right amount of calories that you need, and your body goes into a calorie deficit. So you certainly don't want to do any damage to your hormones or to your thyroid. But I always try to make sure that you all stay within 200 calories of your goal. Okay, so low carb day foods, she makes suggestions there, and I will also do a separate post in our group. It will be tomorrow, about things to eat on low carb days, some recipes. I will start a recipe thread, and that's where I will post all of the recipes that I like and have used, and then you all are free to post anything you like as well in there. And what you'll find is on your phones, if you go to our group, up in the top, it'll have a little search button. You click on the search button and you can type in recipes, and any post that's been made that has recipe in it will come up, and so that'll help you find things a lot quicker. And I label everything. So prep week day 1, prep week day 2, week 1 day 1. And so then if you know that you're looking for something in week 1, if you type in week 1, all the posts from week 1 are going to pop up. So hopefully that will help you too when you're trying to find things in our group. Okay. So things to avoid, everything's in there. Okay, so regular macro days. Let's see. Okay, I better get through this. So on regular macro days, you focus on eating healthy foods from our approved foods list. Again, you'll break your fast around the same time as you do any other day. You want to make sure when you're eating that you don't overeat. So eat till you're about 80% full, and you don't want to get to the point where you're uncomfortable, okay? Ideally, you would eat your biggest meal after your workout, but for me, I work out first thing in the morning, early, usually around 5:30 or 6. So it is a little bit before I have my first meal, usually about 4 hours. And I know some of you all are like me, but when you have that first meal, it would be best if you would start with it being your biggest meal, and then as the day goes on, making each meal a little bit smaller. But again, sometimes that doesn't happen for me because sometimes dinner is my biggest meal. Okay, so you want to still continue to stay within your calorie goal, and then pay attention to your grams of your carbs, fats, and proteins to make sure that you're getting the right amount. And I will show you all a little bit more about that in my MyFitnessPal. Leg day foods. These are all the foods that it's recommended for leg day. Leg day is always going to be your treat day, and leg day is Saturdays. And I will say that if you all need to adjust the food cycle, and you know that there's a day, like if Monday or Tuesday's coming up and you know, well, we have a birthday party, it's my child's birthday, I know we're going to have cake, we're going to have pizza, we're going to, whatever. You can change your days around. The only thing I require is that you keep your low carb days together. They have to stay together. So if you move and you know that you can't do low carb on Monday, then I would want you to do low carb Tuesday and Wednesday and make Monday a regular carb or macro day. And you would move your workouts. So your workouts and your sprint or Tabata workouts stay with low carb days, okay? And then your regular calorie days, those are your strength training days, okay? And then on low calorie days, that's your active recovery. So you can choose to do nothing. You can go to the sauna. You can do yoga. You can go for a long walk, long bike ride. Something that keeps your heart rate at a level where you could carry on a conversation and not be winded. And you would want to do, for an active recovery workout, it would be a longer workout so that you would really tap into that fat burning zone. Okay. Low macro day, again, so I just touched on this. We will do 25% less calories than we would. Okay, she's changed that in this now. I didn't know that. Okay, so 25% less macros. So no more low calorie day. It would still be a low calorie day because you're consuming less macros. So if you typically eat 100 grams of protein on a regular macro day, you will consume 74 total grams of protein. So we will have to look at our grams of our protein and our fat and our carbs for low macro day, and take 25% of that, and that would be the goal for that day. So I will do a separate video on how to do that and track that, and that so that it helps you all with that. This is new. I hadn't looked through all this since the last portal. This is a new portal. So you can take the day off, or you can engage in a longer duration workout, so an hour or more. So I just touched on that. So no low calorie day, it's low macro day. So we will do 25% less grams than what is recommended in MyFitnessPal for you. Okay. So again, I'll do a video on that. These are just going through the regular macro days, and we focus on 50% carbs, 30% fat, 20% proteins. So we got about 10 minutes left. And then, so there's just different things in there about foods you can eat. And pretty much you want to stick with your healthy carbs. So your sweet potatoes, your quinoa, your brown rice, gluten-free oats, steel cut oats are good. Any of your fruits. Okay. And then, so there is a video here on MyFitnessPal instructions that you all can watch if you'd like, but I also will post another video in the group. So that's going to be Amanda in that video. And there's the video of the program details. And if you all want to watch that, you can. It's kind of just the same thing I'm doing right now. So through this program, we focus on eating the right macros, nutrients at the right time for the right reasons. We lift heavy, so don't be afraid to lift heavy weights. You're not going to bulk up. You're not going to look like the Hulk. You're going to develop lean calorie burning muscle, okay? And we engage in fasted cardio, HIIT workouts on our low carb days. And the most important thing, if any, all this, is that you maintain the proper mindset. We focus on progress, not perfection, in the faster way. So you're not going to be perfect. None of us are. We're not expected to be. So if you make a mistake or you have a bad day, then you just start all over again the next day. Okay. It's okay. We're all going to have a bad day. Okay. So don't get down and think, well, it's over. It's not over. Don't quit. You just get back up and get back on that wagon and keep moving forward. Okay, so approved food list. So she goes through, anything in the pantry. Real butter, make sure you're using real butter. And protein, for protein, all these things are fine. Make sure you get gluten-free sausage. If you buy sausage at the grocery, this is something I didn't know for quite some time, but there's a lot of additives and fillers in sausage, and I never had looked at ingredients in it. We personally just kill a hog and, do that. So, but there is gluten-free sausage at Kroger and Walmart. So, you can do any kind of fish, salmon, shrimp, all those, any of those seafoods are good. Just make sure you're getting wild caught, not farm raised. Okay. Anything that has a mother or comes from the ground is fair game in the faster way. When possible, if you can do organic chicken, that's always the better option, or grass-fed beef. If you can't do organic chicken, my next best choice would be Perdue, because they use no antibodies ever, and their chicken is really good. So tuna, eggs, all those things. So any kind of meat is fine. Tenderloin, pork chops. I just say make sure you're not breading them, or if you are, you're using almond flour since it's gluten-free. And you can cook those things in like olive oil or coconut oil or butter. And then fruit, all your fruit is approved, vegetables, any herb, canned goods, any diced tomatoes, chickpeas, kidney beans, black beans. I do green beans and peas and corn and stuff. Well, I don't eat corn, but my kids do. Green beans, I do eat a lot of green beans. I love green beans. I just try to get the ones that have the less sodium. Excuse me. You can do any nuts, any kind of nuts, almonds, walnuts, macadamia nuts, Brazilian nuts, walnuts. I think I already said that. Protein powders you can do. The least amount of ingredients, the better. Okay. I will share with you all what I use. I use a Biochem. It's a grass-fed protein. I get it off Amazon. I love it. It has like 5 or 6 ingredients, and it's super clean. There are Vega. It's a good brand. You can get that at GNC or Amazon. It's a plant-based protein. Isogenics is good as well. I've not tried that, but some other people have, and they really love it. Black coffee is good. Herbal teas are good. If you're going to do any kind of processed foods, I always just really suggest that you try to stick with the things that have the least amount of ingredients. A few things that I do get, because we're busy moms, most of us are busy. We work, we got kids, and so sometimes it's not always easy to be prepared. But I try to be as much as possible. You will want to keep a few things in your pantry or in your car. I always keep like little Ziploc bags of like almonds. I keep RX bars with me. Those are like a protein bar. They have 4 ingredients. You can get them at Kroger. Love them. The Quest protein bars are probably my second choice. I like the RX bars better just because they're a lot cleaner. Kind bars are fine for like regular macro days. You can pop popcorn if you want, but I always try to like actually make my own popcorn and not buy the ones in the bag and throw it in the microwave like that. That's good for a good source of carbs too, if you're, needing a little treat or something. And I stick with like gluten-free pretzels and things like that. I don't usually eat a lot of those things, but sometimes, I get in a little pinch or a pickle and I need something. So, and I will post more things throughout the rest of this week of things that you can go to if you need, or if you have questions about something you love and you want to know if it's okay, just ask me and I'll definitely let you all know. So here's some samples of some food logs of that Amanda does, and some recipes. And so you all feel free to try those. I will, like I said, post my own. If you're training for some type of marathon or half marathon, please let me know, because we will need to adjust your macros and your calorie intake a little bit. Okay, and this just talks about prep week. So a few things to note. You need to make sure that you're getting enough sleep. I recommend 7 to 8 hours each night. I realize that sometimes this is hard for some people, but it really makes a difference in your results with the Faster Way and with any kind of program that you're going to do. If you're not getting adequate amount of sleep, your body is going to be stressed and tired, and then working out only adds to that and will hinder your results. So one thing I do recommend, and I should have put mine on because I wear blue light blocking glasses typically when I'm on my computer at night, and those help a lot. Something else is chronically stressed. So you want to make sure you try to manage your stress levels as much as possible, because when you're chronically stressed, that will also hinder your results. Not having a healthy gut flora will hinder your results. So I do recommend, if you have any kind of gut issues, that you take a really good probiotic. And if you have any type of hyperthyroidism or any other issue that, like adrenal fatigue, that maybe you're not sure that you have adrenal fatigue, then we need to talk. So during the 6 weeks, we really need to stay tight on our nutrition. And you may find that in about week 2 or 3 that some of your pants might be a little tighter in your quads. But don't fret. Just trust the program, and that it works. So hopefully this has helped you all some. We're almost out of time. I will post a replay for this tomorrow morning. If you have questions, I'm going to have to, let's see. Unmute y'all. If you have questions, go on and ask those questions, and we will, I'll answer those. Does anybody have any questions? No? Okay. Well, if you all think of any questions, then please post them in our group page tomorrow when I post the replay. But I love you ladies, and I'm super excited to get started next Monday with you all. And again, if you have questions, just post them once I post this replay, and I will post the thing on the on my FitnessPal too, on how to use that. So if you all have any questions, I'm going to go on and end this call. Anybody got